Welcome everyone back to my channel. This is Dr. Simple Budgets and I am here to talk to you about motivation and budgeting. I thought I'd do another nail video since I really needed to pick a nail color for my nails. I'm doing this coral sort of pearlescent color today on my nails, so I hope you enjoy. So when we hear the term motivation, we actually hear it quite a lot in everyday life and in the budgeting community, especially when we're talking about money. For example, someone can say, I was motivated to save this amount of money for a new car that I want, or I have a lot of big bills coming up, so I'm motivated to pay my bills more than ever. It's a term that's used pretty loosely in the budgeting community too. But what does it mean? And what does it have to do with budgeting at all? And moreover, how can we get more of this thing called motivation in order to reach our goals? Well, first, we need to try to understand what it is. We have to understand what motivation is before we can apply it to budgeting. There are a lot of very, very brilliant and published psychologists in the world of motivational studies. But if I were to have to choose whose work I would say best captures what we're exploring, I would say the works of Edward Deci and Richard Ryan. They're like paragons in the world of psychology. Mostly because they are the co-fathers of self-determination theory. So self-determination theory, or SDT, is a major framework, cornerstone in motivational research. So let me talk to you a little bit about what that is while you watch me paint my nails. It's a really pretty color, but the brush on this was horrible. It was very, very cheap. So I did not have a good time with this particular nail polish session, but you'll see as I go along. So self-determination theory, or SDT, it specifically explores what drives people to act in ways that are fulfilling to them, that they can sustain, and that are effective to their lives. So, to break this down, their work in psychology, called self-determination theory, identify three basic psychological needs that we all have. Number one, I know you're thinking food, water, shelter. No, that's not it. It's actually autonomy, competence, and relatedness, okay, according to their theory. So in self-determination theory, people are most motivated and engaged and psychologically well when their actions are self-determined, right? When you're in control and you're self-determined, you're definitely more engaged. In other words, when they act out of their own personal choice rather than being pressured from some outside force or some obligation or some kind of fear, okay? All right, so let's take a look at these three basic needs as they represent self-determination and personal choice. Like I personally chose this nail color. Isn't it pretty? I had to do 2 coats, but it's really, really, really pretty. I like it. All right, so here are the three basic needs broken down. What did I say? Autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Okay, remember that. All right, so the first basic need is called autonomy, and this is basically the need to feel in control of one's own actions and decisions. Okay, autonomy. We all know that one. An example would be a person who says to themselves, I save money because I value independence. This brings us to basic need number 2, which is competence. And competence is the need to feel effective and skilled and capable of mastering challenges. So, for example, successfully managing a budget reinforces financial confidence. In the world of psychology, when things are reinforced positively, we call that self-efficacy. Finally, the third basic need is relatedness, which is the need to feel connected to others and to belong and to be cared for. You may think, well, what does that have to do with budgeting? Well, there is a need to feel supported by family and spouses and anyone who has a shared financial goal with you. So when it comes to motivation, self-determination theory clearly outlines that when these three needs are satisfied, motivation becomes internalized and autonomous. We sort of just begin to do it automatically. And it leads to some better learning. We learn from it, and it leads to better performance by us, and it leads to persistence and well-being. So I would say the reason why motivation matters in finance is because with these three needs being met, people are more likely to save regularly, to budget effectively, to avoid impulsive spending, and experience financial well-being. So I did all this work, and I asked ChatGPT to give me the code to place this information in Google Colab, which will turn it into a simple graph. And it came up with a bunch of additional psychological concepts that I did not ask for, okay? But after I looked at it a little deeper, I was like, oh yeah, actually those are pretty necessary. So I'm going to insert the chart right here. Okay, well, I decided to look into the suggested psychological concept of amotivation, which is right there at the top, because it's the opposite to what this week's topic is all about. And I think all of those other ones in the gray area obviously are subtopics to the three basic psychological needs, but that would put me down a rabbit hole, and basically I would be creating a lecture, and this video would be 3 hours long, and we don't want that. So let's just stick to amotivation for now, since it describes it as no effort to manage money at all. Okay? So actually intrinsic looks pretty good too. I think it said the joy in the activity. So I think, you know what, if you'd like to, maybe I'll save that for another video. Let me know if you want me to cover that one. So it turns out that amotivation is a huge topic in the realm of psychology and finance because it's the opposite of motivation, right? So I looked into it a little bit more. And amotivation predicts overspending and low self-efficacy, and it's associated with poor financial being. If you want to read a really cool study on how self-determination theory was used to measure both motivation and amotivation in personal finance management, I will leave a link to the study that I found in the description area of my video below. So remember at the beginning of this video where I asked you, how can I get more of this thing called motivation to reach my goals? Well, this particular study that I linked down below revealed some answers to that, actually. I read the conclusion, and you can read that for yourself as well, but I read the conclusion of the study, and it stated that the study might have some important implications for the design of effective interventions to enhance people's knowledge and efficacy in dealing with their money, especially given SDT's evidence-supported principles for enhancing autonomous motivation and its associated beneficial outcomes. And that is a mouthful, but it just turns out that the quality of people's motivation for managing their finances is related to people's financial knowledge, their own behaviors, like knowledge of their own behaviors and propensities, which I've talked about before, such as saving and investing and financial well-being. So the 3 basic needs, well, they win again. Autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And then amotivation would lead to the opposite of all that. So, you and your spouse or your partner or your family members, the people who your finances affect, you'll need to figure out the why. All right, this is my personal evaluation of all of this background study I did on motivation and finance. This is my conclusion. You have to figure out the why you should save money and what you should save it for. And that's something you'll have to do together. What's important and what's valuable to you, you'll have to figure that out. And secondly, you'll need to start watching videos about finance. YouTube has a plethora of videos about how to use your credit card to boost your FICO score, what high yield savings accounts are best for growth, and of course, here in the budgeting community, there's tons and tons of cash stuffing videos, how to cash stuff and manage a budget. When you're taking a long flight or waiting in traffic, you should probably listen to audiobooks or podcasts by, Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman. Those are 2 of my favorites. And lastly, you want to make connectedness, which would be surrounding yourself with like-minded people. People who are going to do this journey with you. Hey, tell you what, you can subscribe to my channel. You can subscribe to my channel. And, we can cash stuff and budget together. And this will offer you new ideas and a new sense of connectedness if you're new to budgeting. Okay. I'm putting my silver powder on over my nails just to give it an extra little kind of a clean girl vibe sheen. You'll see how it comes together at the end. It's really pretty. And like a lot of people use like different nail, liquids and stuff. Honestly, you guys, after I put the top coat on and after I, harden everything, all I do is wash my hands. I don't use alcohol or anything special at all. So with all that said, I hope that you got something out of this video today. We described what motivation is. We defined it through self-determination theory. We looked at self-determination theory and figured out there's 3 things that motivation is derived from in the world of finance. And then, I gave you my best 3 personal, account or my conclusion to that. So please subscribe to my channel and like this video. I will be uploading videos on psychological topics related to budgeting once a month. And I offer you like a small glimpse into my life and what it looks like as I cash stuff, what my life kind of looks like. And also, I'll have a 50 subscribers giveaway at the end of July to thank you all for subscribing to my channel here on YouTube. Yeah, remember, I have some really important links below to the journal article I mentioned. I also have my stash investment referral code, and I have a link to my Ko-fi shop as well. Okay, so hopefully this was a helpful video to you. Hopefully you learned a lot about how motivation and budgeting go hand in hand, and some cool things that you can do to continue on your budgeting journey, and how to boost that motivation too. Stay connected to the budgeting community, and please like and subscribe to my videos, and leave a comment down below and let me know if this was an interesting topic to you. And if you think I chose a really good nail polish color and and put that silver powder how it looks to you. Do you think my nails came out nice? I just washed them with some soap and water. I'm just kind of rubbing the excess off right now. And that'll be it for my video, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Check out my nails. And July is halfway over, so we'll be posting some more videos on what I'm up to for the month of July closeout and the beginning of August. Until next time, bye.